Hey guys, Mike here. Welcome back to another video on the channel. Going to be doing a little bit of work inside the Cherokee today, inside the diesel, actually with a navigation system. I was recently contacted by a company called Carpuride. They sent me a 7-incher, which, I mean, who wouldn't be happy with that, right? They do sell a 9-inch and a 12-inch, but I think 7 inches is, I mean, that's adequate, right? Who wouldn't be happy with that? Basically, it's like a iPlay, Android Auto, or Auto Link, so screen mirroring touch display that you can link your mobile phone up to. I like to use Gaia GPS on my mobile phone. I recently went away for 10 days and I'm often out in the Jeep quite regularly, and I use Gaia GPS on my mobile phone for navigation, for waypoints, for points of interest, and also doing reconnaissance, like looking on the map, checking places, does that look good? So just having a bigger screen, in this case a 7-inch screen, should make life a little bit easier for me. So I'm going to get this out, I'm going to take a look at it, and then I'm going to install it. Let's open it up, take a look. I've obviously already had a look at this, so pretty nice. Little 7-inch display. It's looking pretty scratched up because I didn't want to peel this off until the video, but there we go. So quite a nice screen. Some instructions, probably not going to look at those, and some foam, probably smoke that. And we have a number of other things in here. So we've got various fixings. That looks like an adhesive one with some screw holes in, which is probably the one I'm going to use because I want it permanently mounted. We got a suction cup thing, which might be useful for something else. I probably won't use that. That looks like an adapter for the suction cup, actually. Power cable. This goes into the radio, so you plug this into auxiliary radio on the vehicle so that you can use like Spotify and stuff like that to play music. And another little adapter just there. Looks like a slightly different one, maybe a replacement. We'll come back to that later. Let's have a look at the actual unit itself. So I need to kind of get this powered on. It's worth mentioning you've got USB too, so I've used this for directly linking up my mobile phone when I want to mirror the screen. You've got this one here, which is AV out, which is for this. So that plugs into the stereo, so if you want to use this for Spotify. You've got a microphone, I think, oh yeah, it's there. So you can make calls. And you've got this one here, which is for a reversing camera, which I don't have and have no interest in just yet. But plugging that in, it just basically switch on straight away. This is the main screen you get. So you have iPlay, Android Auto, AirPlay, Auto Link. Auto Link's like mirroring screens. I'm not sure about AirPlay and iPlay because I use a Samsung. But if you notice, the screen's just dimmed actually straight away because this thing has adaptive brightness. It has a sensor on it. I'm going to turn that off and turn this up to full brightness there so you can see. But obviously if you're in the car and it's night time and you have adaptive brightness on, it's going to dim the screen for you automatically. And this here is just the volume because it has a speaker on the back of it. There's an EQ, so you can kind of configure the EQ. There's the Bluetooth setting. You've got USB, like I mentioned on the side. I've plugged in like a USB stick to access photos and things. The same with here, the SD card. You have a radio as well. You can kind of program channels and things like that if you really want to. And obviously in settings, this is just the basic settings for the device. So English language, the color is of these lights here. So you can have white, purple, cayenne, yellow. I guess white is probably the most neutral, non-offensive color. This is just kind of how you want the device to pick up straight away with Android or iPhone. So you're using Android Auto or iPlay. In my case, I'm using Android Auto, not Auto Link, which is mirroring the device, so I'm not really interested in that. And we've got Wi-Fi stuff too, because this does use Wi-Fi. That's how it links up to your phone, with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth at the same time. So I've just turned Bluetooth on, and I'll just click on Carpuride, and it'll connect up basically straight away. And whilst it's connected to this Carpuride device, it's going to be using 4G. Because Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are required to make this work, and I can obviously now turn my phone off. You can actually use a cable to connect this up to with the Auto Link one if you want to. I'll show you that in a bit, but I use it like this. You've got Spotify and Gaia GPS, which is the two most common things I'm using. So you can kind of see here, you've got my Gaia with all the waypoints and stuff like that, which is kind of for me the main reason why I wanted this really. But this is the main screen you've got, so that's the speaker. But obviously you can connect it up to your stereo, which I'll simulate with this. So I've just connected this up as you would your car stereo, and you know, and it just plays music. So the thing to note though is the speaker on the back of this and the car stereo play at the same time. So if you actually wanted to stop the speaker playing, you have to go back to settings at the home page and basically turn off device speaker, which is how you do it, and then you can go back to Android Auto and be on your screen again. So, and then it just plays from the car stereo. There's going to be a lot more features on this that I'm probably not going to be able to show you that I just wouldn't use personally. For me it's music and Gaia, and I probably wouldn't use it to make calls because I don't have a microphone, but you can use it to call people if you want to. So that's always something you can do if you really want to do that. And just note that this button in the corner here is kind of how you get back to your main screen. So if you click on something, you can get back to the split screen like that, and you can even go back to this screen here, which kind of shows you all of the apps that you can access with Android Auto. And that's kind of the thing about Android Auto, is you can't have YouTube on here and other applications because they're not approved by Android Auto, because they don't want you to crash while driving. But there are various hacks you can do to get those things if you know what you're doing. In terms of Gaia GPS, which is the main application I use, and the reason I'm so interested in this is Android Auto approved Gaia GPS, so it's not going to be how it is on your mobile phone. So in terms of the menus that you've got with Gaia, routes, waypoints, recording tracks, searching for stuff and settings, there's not really a massive amount on there. So you've only got routes, tracks and waypoints, and that's just showing visibility. That's all that shows. Routes and stuff, again, this is just going to do a search, I think, for nearby routes. I'm not entirely sure what that just showed me. But in terms of the way I access Gaia, I do it mostly through my mobile phone. So like, for example, if I want to go somewhere like this waypoint here that I marked when we went away for 10 days, I can select that and I can go more, and then I can say guide me turn by turn, do not record, and Gaia will now basically, wherever it's taken me, Gaia will now basically take me to that location. So 703 kilometers, about 8 hours to get up there, so that's just to that location there. And you can see it hasn't updated on the screen here on Gaia. It won't do that, and you can't do that on this Gaia, which is a shame. And that isn't a fault of Carpuride. This is just Android Auto, so I can't click that and select it. And that is a real flaw of Gaia on the on this Android Auto thing. And that's kind of why screen mirroring is probably better. So you might ask them, what is the use of this? Because you can't actually use it for navigation because it can't take you anywhere. Well, it's actually a new feature of Gaia to be able to do navigation like that turn by turn. They never had that before. So I just used to look at the map as I was driving until they updated it. But let's say you do want to navigate to this location and you want to be taken there and you want it to be on here. Well, you have to do it on your phone first. So what you would do is go driving directions on that waypoint, and it would access Google Maps, and then you would start the journey by being navigated via Google, and then you select Google on here, and obviously it's already then updated itself with regards to what's on your mobile phone. You can see there it's now taking me to that location. So when I originally used Gaia on Android Auto, I was sort of thinking, oh, that is a shame that you can't use the application exactly how you would on your mobile. But it does still function pretty well through Android Auto, and actually that's the way I'm going to use it, because I kind of like having this heads-up display on this particular device and just having that accessibility. But there is a way of using Gaia pretty much exactly the same way as you would use it on your mobile. So if you want to mirror your screen to this and use Gaia the same way, or use this screen as if it were your mobile phone, but just a bigger variation of it, go to settings and go to like the connection bit. You can see I've got Android Auto selected. I want Auto Link, which is screen mirroring, and then you just plug the USB into your phone. You need a, oh there you go, it came up straight away. It's an app called Auto Link, and it's asking to cast, so I'm casting that, and there you go, there's my mobile phone. So I can kind of use that literally like it's my mobile. Can you see on my reflection, by the way? That's kind of creepy. I just looked in the camera. If you go to navigation, you can go to Gaia GPS, and you've got Gaia as if it was on your mobile phone. But this is why I say buy maybe like a 12-inch screen or a 9-inch, or just a bigger one than the 7, because you can see that you lose a bit of the edge, and it isn't quite, it's not really big enough a 7-inch screen for me to warrant using the auto casting, the screen casting. It's better for me to use Android Auto, like the app I showed you before, because it goes right to the edge and I get more of the map. It's much more visible. But on this one, what you can do, if we click on the waypoint and go to more, we can go to guide me, and go to turn by turn and do not record, and that will start taking you through the Gaia navigation system basically. So you can see there's actually not too much room for stuff inside the Jeep. One thing I want to avoid with this is having it anywhere up here like that. I don't want it obscuring my vision in any way. I want it down below the dashboard basically. So I'm going to use this mount here. Now I've undone the little screw at the back and rotated this to the correct orientation, and I'm basically just going to screw it in straight on there like that. So that is a pretty firm fixture. I haven't bothered with the glue, but I have put the glue pad at the back just as cushioning, just so it takes away any possible vibration or anything like that. And then yeah, screw this on. Well, there we go. One thing to bear in mind about the Cherokee is the cigarette plug, which is predominantly what this comes with, isn't ignition live, so it's on all the time. If I plug that in, there's a little blue light come on and you can get power from it straight away, as you can just see it switched on there. So instead of messing around with this, which has a little power supply in it, which kind of makes it harder to hook up to something, I'm going to just bunch this wire up within the dash somewhere, and I'm going to reconnect my cigarette lighter to ignition live somehow. It's easy to do, but it's just finding wires in which to connect it to. So there we go, it's all installed. This wire here that you see hanging around is just the auxiliary cable going to this little Bluetooth speaker there. Obviously if you had a stereo you could just plug that straight in, but I've got my CB radio there at the moment, which is going to be relocated actually. I'm going to be putting it just down there next to the med kit, so it's kind of out of the way. And then I want to put a stereo in here and put some speakers in, because I do enjoy listening to music these days, you know, while I'm driving. Well, the product's all installed and I'm really happy with the way it's installed. I'm glad I managed to keep the screen below the dash line. One thing that always bothers me about accessories and stuff in the vehicles is, you know, when you start piling stuff up above the dash, when you've got these suction pads everywhere with navigation, mobile phone, whatever else, it can start to become a little bit of a problem with visibility, and just obscuring your vision a bit. I like to keep a clear windscreen, and especially when off-roading or navigating on some of the skanky tracks that are out there. When you're nose into like a washout, it is good to have a clear windscreen and to be able to see everything, you know, it does help. But one thing I want to touch on at the end of this video is I do understand that from a viewer's perspective, it's probably kind of annoying seeing YouTubers get given free stuff, especially high value stuff, and then sort of overly biased reviews of them forcing the product down your throat as if it's the best thing in the world. You know, for me, I accepted the product for a number of reasons, and the main one being the safety aspect of it. Now, there is something to mention here, and that's if you choose the product for mirroring your screen from a mobile phone, it sort of removes that safety element a bit, because you're still using a mobile phone interface, you know, scrolling between tabs and clicking icons and whatever, and it's not quite as streamlined as like an app like Android Auto or the iPlay app, which is much more suited for driving and having and retaining more safety. And that's kind of, I think, why they built it basically, and why you see it installed in newer vehicles. So for me, the main positives of why I accepted the promotion was to have Android Auto in the vehicle on a bigger screen, the ability to use Gaia, the ability to navigate with Google Maps, to have Spotify there too, to have something like a plug into a stereo, which I intend on getting with speakers, and just having a bit more of a user-friendly interface. Now, it's worth mentioning that yes, you do have Siri, you do have Google voice recognition, you can talk to it, you can make calls, you can record text messages, like talk, and it will write it all for you and stuff like that. I have tried all that stuff with it. I'm not really comfortable with that kind of stuff when I'm driving. Normally, if a call comes in and it is important, I generally let it ring out, pull over, and then call back. Because I'm just not up together with that kind of thing, you know, so well. For me, the main thing about navigation was sort of wrecking out top quality dogging sites. And if you're not familiar with what a dogging site is, then I can't help you there. But being able to zoom in on that map on Android Auto and sort of pinpoint specific details about cul-de-sacs and turnaround points is fundamental. I mean, there was one time I was using that app, like just driving along on a trip. I was able to see an aubergine with a condom on, just in a parking area, and I was like, you know, direct me, yes, turn by turn, yes, record track. I need to remember this. So, you know, there are some major positives with it. Sorry, jokes are such crap jokes. I know, I just can't help it. But it's because I get too serious, and it gets too serious, and I have to kind of just lower the tone to bring it back again. I can't handle it. But what I'm trying to say is, hopefully this has been a non-biased review. Hopefully you don't feel like I'm forcing the product down your throat, and hopefully Carpuride are happy with me to do that and to do a review like this. I mean, I think it's a good product, and for me it's going to work great. And it's definitely much better than the system I had before. But is it perfect? Of course it's not. No product is, and you know, we're still waiting for the day when something is, aren't we? But just bear in mind that this is a sponsored video. There are affiliate links in the description. If you buy the product through my links, then you will be giving me money. But then again, I have recommended a 9-inch screen, so I don't have affiliate links for that, so I probably won't get any based upon my recommendation, but that's fine. And I just want to say thanks for watching. Thanks to Carpuride. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you very soon in another one. Take care.